Hello, this is Reno, Dino, Valentino, and the great Cecilia Rose from Comic Dissection. And we are here with the most special of specialist announcements. We are actually going to be at our very first con ever.
Yay!
As people with a table. I mean, both have been to cons before.
Yes.
I was afraid we were going to lose some nerd cred there. But
no, Animazement was amazing.
Yes, this is our first... This is better to say this is the first con for the podcast.
Yes.
June 2nd through 4th, Con Carolinas, which is the longest running sci-fi and fantasy con, will be at the Hilton at Charlotte University Place. And on Saturday, yours truly, and Cecilia truly, will be there. So, if you are fans of the podcast,
or if you're just going to be at the convention anyways.
Yes. Although if you're not fans, I have no idea how you're hearing this blurb. But
Hey.
However you
come get a sticker, man.
However you've come across it, come out. Yeah, we'll be handing out stickers and business cards, and we're going to have a drawing for some graphic novels. Some we've done on the show, some we will do on the show, some we haven't, and may never do on the show. But, hey, if there's one thing I hope you've learned with Comic Dissection, is that every comic's worth a read at least once. And we'll give you a whole stack of them just for showing up. We're going to have a drawing at the end of the day. And if you want to win, you got to play. Or at least show up at our table. So yeah, June 3rd. Come on by. Say hi. Don't leave us hanging. This is kind of our first date. Fucking show up, alright? And obviously, if you have children, they're also welcome if they can tolerate cursing, pro-LGBT messages, violence, anti-cop propaganda, and the like.
All the things that being a leftist entails.
Yeah.
You know?
If you're a leftist and you don't find curse words offensive, yeah, bring the kids along. It's good family fun. Otherwise, please don't add us.
Yeah. You're responsible for your children.
Yes. I can barely take care of myself. I certainly can't take care of your kids.
Not the babysitting table.
No. Also, if you bring... I have no idea if you can have pets here, but if you bring a rabbit to this con, bring it by the table. I want to pet a rabbit. I don't know. It's just a thing I've been thinking about lately. All right.
That was so random.
It is, but I would love to pet a rabbit at the con and maybe get a picture with it. And like a little... I'd call him
You're
Peter.
going to have some weird furry cosplayer come up to you and...
Fine. Absolute furries, welcome. All welcome. Comic Dissection table. Look for us at Con Carolina. It's June 3rd.
Come say hi.
We will have links to the Con Carolina, where it's happening, how you get your tickets, etc., etc., in the comments, not the comments, in the show notes. So please, come out, say hi, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Coffee's in me, lady.
Yes.
Woo! All right, welcome to Comic Dissection, the comic book reading club in which I, Reno Dino Valentino, and my wonderful co-host Cecilia Rose take you through the world of comics, both mainstream and not so mainstream.
Yes.
Both American and not so American.
Which we are doing a not so American one today because we were talking about Given, which is a series written and illustrated by Natsuki Kaizu. It comes out bi-monthly normally in Cherry Plus and has... I think it says it's going to have 8 volumes total. The 6th one is getting ready to come out in January. And it follows an amateur rock band.
Woo! That's right. This week is rock and roll!
I figured after doing Semantic Error... Mm-hmm. We could do something that is much more green flaggy and I was going to say happy, but it's definitely not happy.
It's not sad, though.
It's just...
There's a sad part, but overall it's pretty upbeat and funny.
But it's much more like, you know,
Now, what does the term green flag mean?
Okay, so when you... Internet speak, basically. It's basically green flags are characters who are more healthy and have nicer relationships. Whereas red flags, like, eventually...
Oh, I know what a red flag is.
Eventually, we're going to get to my favorite...
I've never had a relationship that involved green flags.
Oh honey. Eventually, we'll get to my favorite red flag, because I'm going to make you read Love Jinx, and Kang Woojin needs to be locked away in a mental asylum. But
that the author of that?
No, Kang
Woojin, that's the character.
The character.
Okay.
Kang Woojin is... He needs to be locked away in a mental asylum, but I fucking love him anyways. Mm-hmm. So, green flags, red flags,
most of my favorite comic book characters are literally locked up in an asylum, so I'm not here judging. I'm
judging myself, but, I do love Kang Woojin, and we will read Love Jinx at some point, but today we are talking about Given, and I love the art. It is...
I actually missed this when I first opened it, that there's a color panel in the first page, and I was like, oh, that's pretty.
I love the art. So the woman who wrote this, Natsuki Kaizu, has another one called Lynx, which is...
And does the art.
Yes.
Writes and does the
art, yes. Which has similar character designs to this one, and I eventually want to read Lynx, but I watched the anime for Given, and... I figured, what the hell, I'm down the rabbit hole now, so I went ahead and started buying the manga.
Now, is the anime a complete story, or is it still ongoing right now?
It is, so the anime, I think, is technically finished, but the books go further than the anime does, obviously.
Yeah, as the books want to do.
Yes. But yeah, I watched the anime, and I thought it was amazing and beautiful, and they actually have the songs in the anime. Which is the only thing that I think is the downside
it's
to
hard.
a manga.
Yeah. Although they do some neat tricks with the paneling and the pictures that sort of help portray the music and the singing, which I dig and we'll talk about when we get there.
The art is beautiful, and I love the music attached to the anime. So, we start out with our main boy, Mafia, here. He keeps having... The words are basically, he keeps having the same dream over and over.
And I want to say something, is when I heard that, I immediately thought of the game Kingdom Hearts. And anyone that's played Kingdom Hearts will think, oh, yeah, this makes sense once I explain it. The first panels are, over and over, I keep having the same dream. And now I want to play for you the first 30 seconds of the Kingdom Heart opening, because... Damn. Feels. Gives me the feels. Kingdom Hearts 2, actually. If anyone's paying attention.
A scattered dream that's like a far-off memory. A far-off memory that's like a scattered dream. I want to line the pieces up. Yours and mine.
So, this whole, this starting with a dream, and also the art style, which you couldn't really see in that little segment that I cut. I was reading this, I was like, oh, this is Kingdom Hearts. Goofy and Donald are going to show up any minute. It's going to be a Disney joint.
I mean,
Yeah.
It could be, hypothetically.
Yeah, so... I wrote, this is Kingdom Hearts. I'm reading Kingdom Hearts. Which there is a manga for, which we might do one day.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, I really like the art. So, the first page with the chapter 1 panel, their Mafia and Yuanama are back to back. Yeah. And this is actually, I have a sticker that I use on my phone case sometimes that is this picture, but in color.
Cool.
So you wake... The story starts with Yuanama passed out in class because he likes to sleep when he should be
slacker.
Studying. He sure is. And he goes to his favorite little sleep spot, which is the stairwell that no one else goes to. And Mafia is sleeping in his spot.
Yeah.
And Mafia is sleeping, hugging a guitar. And Mafia's a sweet kid. He moves over to give Yuanama room.
Yeah.
And is creepy and silent and won't talk.
He's like, this is a sleeping thing. Why are we talking? I will say this, as someone who taught in Japanese schools for 2 years, this is a very real thing. Like, you will find Japanese students sleeping just all over the fucking place. Because it's a little weirder that this is during school, but like after school, the kids stick around for their clubs. Excuse me. And they don't sometimes go home till 7 or 8 at night.
Huh.
So you will often be just walking down the hallway, and a kid will just be slumped up against the side of the wall, or in a classroom by themselves, like with their head on their desk, or in one of the club rooms. So looking for a little secluded place to take a nap is that shit's real.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I'm
glad you can add context.
This is what I will add in this, is
Yeah.
a Japanese context, because of two things. A, I like to brag about living in Japan. And B, because, it's all I know. All this romance stuff is woo, right over my head.
So, I actually really like the slow burn kind of build for this. It feels
too.
more natural.
Me too.
So anyways, Yuinama gives Mafuyu some shit because the strings on his guitar are rusted and busting, and Yuinama plays music, so this guitar being in this shape really makes him mad.
I get not being a musician, but I get the idea of being passionate about something and finding a tool of the trade that is in disuse and finding it frustrating, offensive, like making you mad.
Well, and Yuinama,
not to the point I would yell at him as happens here.
Yuinama is such a tsundere, though. Like his whole character is such a he's so gruff and loud. Like, he is a fucking tsundere up and down.
He's simmering under the surface.
But Mafia didn't realize that it could be fixed, and Yuinama does fix it for him, but not without giving him just so much shit for it.
Yeah. Yeah, while fixing it, he's yelling
Stop
at him.
looking like it's the end of the world just because a few strings are broken. You're making me feel like the bad guy here. Quit with the guilt trip and give me back my afternoon nap. Be happier. Worship me.
It's fair. It's a fair request.
And pay me back later. Yeah. And then he tunes it for him, and Mafiu is hooked from that moment because he wants Yuinama to teach him how to play the guitar. Yuinama tugged on his heartstrings.
Yeah.
He's so sweet.
Yeah. Which I like that it's such a weird, it's such a weird series of events. So he finds him just sleeping in the sun on the staircase, cradling this guitar that he obviously doesn't know anything about.
Nope,
He didn't even know that when a string was broken. I am not a guitar player, and I knew that when a string is broken, it can't be repaired.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that. He didn't know, so he's a total stranger to music, in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's weirdly silent. So you've got this great mystery just right out the bat. You're like, who the fuck is this guy?
Well, in the very first panel, though, you see him hugging the same guitar with...
Yeah, staring up in wonder.
Yeah, there's clearly some stuff going on.
Yeah. The man loves his guitar.
Well, so... And then it does a little flashback.
He starts thinking back to...
when he started playing.
Yeah, because he feels like he went a little hard on him. Because he was like, when I first was learning to play the guitar, he was hard on Mafuyu, who I don't think he knows his name yet.
Nope.
But he's like, when I was learning to play the guitar, I remember breaking a string and not knowing that you could fix it and thinking it was the end
But
of
I
the
have
world,
the type of personality where if I can't do something the way I want to, I can't let it go. And I became completely obsessed with it.
Yeah, that's weird, Cecilia. Why do you connect to this character? Is there a reason?
You know what? We're not going to get into that right now. We're just going to...
I will tell you this. I connected to him on the very next page because he talked about how the better he got at it, the less excited he was. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, not now because I'm old and everything's hard for me, but when I was younger, I was good at stuff just naturally.
Yeah.
And
must be nice.
It would have been nice if it stayed. It's more of a tease, really, since I can't do it now.
I've never been naturally good at anything.
Oh,
so.
I used to have skills. If I wanted to learn something, I could do it really quickly. And now it takes a lot more effort, and I have to concentrate on it. But back then, as soon as I felt like I had kind of mastered something, like, and I think that some of it is that I've gotten older and I understand that you don't get to that step. Like, when I was a kid, I thought I knew everything about dinosaurs. One day I was like, well, I've learned everything there is to know about dinosaurs.
Done with this.
Done with dinosaurs. But yeah, like, I totally get the feeling of like, yeah, the better I got at it, the less interesting it was. Because the challenge is gone. Like, oh, but, I'm sorry, one thing just a page before. I told you there was a, before we started recording, there was one of those cliches that drove me nuts, and it was this one. It was, when I think back on it now, that my world began changing more rapidly than I could have imagined. But back then, I didn't have a single clue what was to come. Like, the whole, like, I met this person, they changed my world, but I didn't know that at the time. I just want to shake them and be like, of course you didn't! When you meet someone, you of course you don't know that.
Well, in his defense, I feel like...
It's a common trope, the whole, like, they changed me, but I didn't know at the time. It's like, yes, they changed you more than you ever could imagine at the time. Like, overall, I very much enjoyed this manga, but, like, that's one of, you get the tropes that bother you. The ones that stick a barb in your...
Miscommunication is mine. I fucking hate miscommunication.
Which makes me wonder how you like this genre at all, because 60% of their problems is miscommunication, it seems like. That would be like me,
not the ones that I
don't like
normally.
Large eyes. Like, I'd be like, how are you reading these at all?
Actually, I really love the large eyes, and I am regularly very depressed that people don't look more like anime characters.
Oh, well, I'm with you there. Although for me, it's more of a hair thing.
That's also fair.
Please, spike your hair up and dye it pink for the love of God already.
But no, a lot of the ones I read, miscommunication... I think there's a difference between not knowing how to communicate, which happens in Given some, but they're also both teenagers, and like you're gonna. I expect teenagers to fuck up communication.
Yeah, and teenagers don't know how to describe their feelings yet.
Yeah,
they're the first time they've ever felt these feelings. They barely
know what those feelings are.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between that and purposefully not clearing up a misunderstanding.
Yeah,
and like.
And some of that's just lazy writing. They're like, well,
I need the drama.
It would just stop if they just explained it to each other. This manga would be 14 pages long. I
fucking hate miscommunication.
Understood. But anyway, yeah, as you were, soldier.
So yeah, he does say that he liked it less the better he got.
Yeah.
But he got to the point where he could play whatever he wanted. So he is decent enough at it.
Not just decent. If you can play whatever you want, you are a talented guitarist.
He is talented, it's true.
Man's got skills.
He did almost cry the first time.
Really. Yeah.
They do. The first time he broke his string. He skips basketball, and the teach me guitar dude is, as Yuanama refers to Mafiu, is in his sleep spot.
Yeah. Oh, I will tell you this. It is when you skip clubs, it is considered like very bad form. Like
Aww.
The rest of the like, if you skip your basketball club, the rest of the basketball club is like, you're letting us down, man. Like, we're a team, and you're letting the team down. And also, if you kind of connected to that, if you're not a member of any clubs. It's kind of frowned on.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, after school, you need to be a member of at least one club. And preferably, like, 2 or 3.
Oh,
and the only reason you should miss one club is because another club has an obligation.
This seems like a lot of social pressure.
Welcome to school clubs in Japan. But anyway.
But yeah, so Yuanama... It gets begged to teach him how to play guitar, and Mafiu does pay him back. I give Mafiu props for that.
Yeah, he tries with money and like a spring roll or something.
Yeah, he's trying to bribe Yuanama to teach him how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
But Yuanama wants him to go join the music club and start a band for himself or something.
This took me a bit out of it. He asked what a band is. Mafuyu doesn't know what a band is? Like, where have you lived, man?
It makes even less sense as you get into his backstory, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, like, your guy friend never mentioned it, huh? What a band was. And nor did the radio. And here's what I wrote, and I think this is, like, this might just be me making excuses, but it sort of, because he asks other questions later on that seem like out of this world, like you have to be an alien to not know, like genre, what is my favorite song? Like, it makes me think it's just part of his personality that he has trouble with conversation, and he'll just ask questions that aren't sensible, but just because that's what his mind synopsis sent to his mouth. Because he can't not know what a band is. Like, you can't not know what a band is. I would think it's just part of his personality.
Yeah, that he just kind of...
It makes much more sense than I've never encountered a band.
That's a fair...
So I'm sticking with it.
Yuanama says, "Don't get all emo on me." I fucking love that line.
Yeah, when he gets intimidated, he asks weird questions. Like, what's a band?
So, Yuanama ends up taking Mafiyu to their band practice. Mm-hmm. And I love that.
We get to meet the band.
A stray puppy I picked up. Yeah. In the anime, this line is delivered so, like, it is such a good line.
Does it? Well, how's he say it? Is he sad or joking or deadpan?
He's very tsundere. He's very loud and like,
nice.
I picked up a stray puppy, kind of like it's fucking hilarious.
Nice.
So we meet Kaji, who's the drummer,
and Haruki.
Yep.
I called him the Jesus bassist with the soul patch.
I love him.
He kind of looks like Jesus. He's my favorite
sweet
character, actually.
Yeah.
Haruki's my guy. He's my spirit animal in this particular story.
Yuanama has to basically push Mafiyu into introducing himself. He does have trouble communicating.
Yeah.
And when you get Mafiyu's backstory, a lot of that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Too. So,
and I think here, or somewhere close, is where they mention the Showa style. He says, you just play your Showa style of guitar, which is a mix of Western music and Japanese music together.
Oh.
And it's not just... It exists in music. I think Showa is how you pronounce it. I could be pronouncing it wrong. But it doesn't just exist in music. It's also in architecture and culture. Like, that style just means a mix of Japanese and Western cultures together.
That's really neat.
There's a music style, architecture, all that stuff.
Well, after Mafiyu says his name, you get this really cool, like, 2 pages that are just, like, background on his character.
Yeah, and you get one after each
Yeah.
issue, and you learn a little things about them, like how tall they are, their blood type, and their zodiac sign.
Yeah. I think Mafiyu is always slightly hunched, stuff like that.
Yeah, that love of blood type, man. Like, it's supposed to... In Japanese culture, blood type's supposed to represent, like, different blood types give you different personalities. Like, if you're O negative, you're a hothead, and if you're AB, you're this. Like, I guess it's no more weird than saying that if you were born on a certain day, Venus can control whether you're in a bad mood or not. Like, yeah, so, I mean, I'm not judging. It's just, it's something I never understood when I was younger, because, like, when I would get a video game manual, all my characters, it would tell me what their blood type is. And I was like, the only game this makes sense on is Mortal Kombat, because I'm knocking the blood out of them. It's nice to know what blood type that is.
I grew up reading too much Sailor Moon. I know all about those blood type things.
Nice.
So Mafiyu says he wants to watch and learn, and the boys at first...
They start to feel real good.
They're pumping themselves up.
Well, there's a couple different scenes where he's like, you guys are so cool, and they're like... Yeah, like, everyone likes being called cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, even as you're pushing back on it and being like, oh, I'm not that cool. And inside you're like, hey, I'm pretty cool. Thanks for noticing.
Yuanama gets all like, how are you okay with him watching? He expects us to be rock gods or something. And then they feel the pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of fucks up because they could have just started playing. And they even say, like, the longer we go without playing, I feel like his expectations are just getting high. Mafuyu's expectations are going higher and higher and higher.
Yeah,
and so we better start playing real quick.
So they decide to show off and they kick it.
Oh, did we mention that Kaji looks really mean? He looks
does look really
He looks
mean.
like a punk. He's got
a
like
punk.
an angry face. But he's
with
a
piercings.
Super nice guy who just has that mean face. Has a resting bitch face, as it's called.
Yeah. Well, that's part of I guess the fun of this is you got your different types of guys. Like Mafia is clearly like the sensitive, quiet one, and Yuanama is the sweetheart who doesn't really want to be a sweetheart. Like
Haruki's
he goes out of
kind
his
of
way.
the class clown.
Well, Haruki's kind of he's also a sensitive type, but he's much more like flowery about it.
He's much funnier. He's the funny one in my opinion.
And Kaji is the badass
Who's also kind of the overprotective father type.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So they decided to kick it old school style, and this is where they
the Showa
style.
The Showa style, yeah.
And
sorry, this manga only gives you a page number like every 15 pages, so it's kind of like sometimes I didn't want to go back and count how many pages to figure out what page number different things were happening. Some I have page numbers, and some I just guessed.
You just guessed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So they decide Yuanama asks him what his favorite genre of music is and what he likes to listen to, and Mafia knows nothing. Something cool. Well, that's a real specific request.
Also, Haruki does finger guns at one point, which I'm also a fan of.
And then he starts showing off.
Yeah.
And the other boys decide that they can't let him show off by himself.
Yeah,
so
they gotta pick it up.
Yep. This page of them jamming, though, I really appreciated, and I thought it was really cool the way that they've designed, like, all of the panels.
You've got thin vertical panels, which in comics often dictate, like, something happening fast, like speed or action shots. So it's that, but it's not like a fight between, Magneto and Wolverine. It's a guitar session and drum session. So like you got that with so you understand that they're like jamming fast and hard.
And Mafia's reaction down here in the corner.
Yeah, and then you got some big onomatopoeias like boom and dun and stuff. And then you get a very good full panel shot of the three of them playing. Looking good, wearing some Converse. Got them high tops.
Yuanama's a punk.
Yeah.
Not as much of a punk as Kaji, but
they're all kind of punks.
Yeah,
bunch of punks.
And Yuanama walks Mafia to the train station.
Well, not intentionally.
Not intentionally.
He's just like,
what am I doing here?
Yeah. He's like, are you just walking with me? Am I walking with you? Like, somehow we're walking in the same direction. Still not talking. He's still just quietly walking beside him.
Like a puppy.
He's a man comfortable in silence.
Very comfortable. He has to come by again, and Yuanama tells him no, and he's never taught anybody, and he doesn't really know how to.
And once again, the clubs come up. He's like, you should join the music club if you want to learn music. Kind of a no-brainer, kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, not our band. Our band's not teaching. It's not our band.
We are not, we do not teach as a side gig, man.
Yeah,
you gotta know what you're doing to come here.
Yeah, I like, and this, I don't know how much of this is just Ritsuka's personality and how much of it is, like a Japanese culture thing, but he does not want to take on the responsibility of training because he's worried he won't be good at it. He might fail at it. And I like that. I like he's like, I don't know if I would be a good teacher. Just because I know how to play guitar does not mean I can teach you to play guitar.
That is something I related to too, because especially after having kids, like, I know how to do this stuff. I don't know how to explain it to you.
Yeah. Teaching and knowing are very different. Yeah. So it's good. It's kind of impressive that he recognizes that right off the bat.
He pulls Mafia close whenever he's worried about Mafia getting hit by a car, which I thought was kind of cute.
He saves him from a car, and then he tells him, he's like, you gotta look behind you when the cars are coming. And Mafu's like, I don't know how to look behind me.
I can't see behind me.
I can't see behind me. I'm like, kid, are you in... And again, it just goes back to, like, I think he just says weird shit when he's uncomfortable and nervous. Like...
And then we meet Yuanama's sister.
Yay! Finally, something for the me's in this world.
Yeah, I wrote down Yuanama's sister is just here for fan service.
Yeah, well, yeah. Va-va-va-voom. They even say va-voom. And there's a... Va-voom is written in the panel. In case you didn't know, she's attractive. Also, va-voom, weird choice. Is that a weird Japanese translation, or was this directly transcribed from a cartoon from the 1930s? Because that's the last time I heard anyone say va-va-voom.
She's just here for the boy fan service for the men who get dragged into this while their girlfriends are reading
I am sure Pretty Sister will have a purpose. If nothing else, later on, they show her and her brother next to each other. And they're like, you can switch their hair. They're almost the same person. So
yeah,
I think it's secretly part of the gay agenda. I think they want me to be attracted to her, and then they're slowly going to transition me over. It's this everyone's gay theory, and I don't trust this author anymore. I think I think that's what's happening.
As we discussed in the last episode with Reggie,
Yeah.
everyone is a little bit gay.
Everyone's a little gay.
I subscribe to Reggie's theory.
Yeah.
At any rate,
this is how they're going to prove it to me. They're going to slow. I mean, not that they need to. I mean, I've seen David Tennant, but
yeah.
but this is what they're doing.
At any rate, she gives him crap, and she wants him to go make the pizza. I actually really like their relationship. I think it's a pretty honest representation of how siblings are. Being the older sister myself, yeah. I the way they snark back and forth, I find a little enjoyable.
And it's also nice that he does take care. Like, he does go and make the pizza.
Yeah.
She's I don't know if she can't. It's a frozen pizza, man. But
she just wants him to do it.
She wants him to do it, yeah.
And that's,
because he is the younger and therefore lower on the totem pole.
And she was waiting for him to come home to
right.
eat.
You don't want to just leave him a pizza that you have to microwave that was already frozen. As someone who's eaten that, it's not great.
So he asks her about learning to play guitar, and he does talk about the responsibility of trying to teach. But he's also kind of got Mafia's look in his mind about how excited he looked at the prospect of learning.
Yeah. He's like, when was I that excited about guitar? Like, not since I first started trying to learn have I cared that much. Forgetting how hard he was jamming at the jam session. But his other bandmates noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll get there.
He's playing basketball with his basketball club.
He's doing crappy because he hasn't been to practice. Apparently, you got to practice to be good at basketball. It doesn't
Darn sports.
Yeah. But at least, like, he's not naturally good at everything. He's just, if he works at it, he can be good at anything.
Yeah.
Which is a slightly less insufferable version of that.
Yeah.
Like, the person that puts no effort in and is good at things, I find almost insufferable. But the person who at least has to work for it and then can be good at anything, I'm much more comfortable with.
He hasn't gone back to a spot because he's worried he'll give in to Mafia when he does go back. But I do think that they do a good job establishing the fact that, just like with the guitar, he sucked at it at first, but
he got better
because he put himself into and worked for it.
Yeah.
And it is
Although
nice.
the basketball might be reverse. He was good at basketball, and then he stopped going to practice. It got bad. He also compares Mafuyu as a little Pomeranian dog.
I love that.
He's like, he's going to follow me around like a little Pomeranian.
But then he doesn't.
They're very cute dogs, though.
They are very cute dogs. But then Yuanama gets upset
We see a little day-to-day montage.
Yeah, because Mafiu isn't following him around
He's not
anymore.
in his spot for 3 days in a row.
Yeah. And he gets upset about it.
Yeah. And Kaji's asking him, what's the dealio?
Yep. When they're working one of their many part-time jobs.
Yeah. Yeah, you get a little bit at the end about all the part-time jobs, which is also, man, that's real. Shit's expensive. You gotta have a part-time job.
Yeah. Kaji's asking him about it and how...
Why so dazed?
Yeah, why are you so upset, Yuanama?
Yeah.
And he explains that it's Sato. It's Mafiu that's got him all messed up.
Yeah.
Kaji, like you said, he mentions that he looked like he was super excited to play.
For the first time in a while.
Yeah, which is an energy that he'd been missing. And Yuanama was not aware of this. But when he gets to the studio, there's Mafia.
Hanging out with Haruki.
Yep.
Like, hey, bud.
Found him sitting in front of the studio, so I let him in. Like a fucking
like
dog.
A dog. like a lost dog. Like Fry's dog from that really sad Futurama episode. Just hanging out outside, waiting. There's also...
And then, Yuanama's going to scream at him again.
I need a page number so I know where we're at. I think... Okay, yeah, we may have missed... There was also a thing where he said, you didn't approach it with your usual arrogance and air of superiority. Yeah. He's talking to... He's like, hey, anyone in there? Your mouth's hanging open. And he says, oh, I always look like this. And he's like, no, you're missing the usual arrogance and air of superiority. So usually he has a smug, resting superiority face is actually what I should call it.
Hey, there you go. They've all got all kinds of faces. So yeah, Yuanama goes to yell at him, and Haruku's like, hey, guess what? He stringed his own guitar.
I like that Haruku took it upon himself to teach him how to string his own guitar.
Yeah.
And how excited he is about it. Like... It's so cute.
And also he tuned it, which was cute. He's so hard, like he's looking for approval so hard.
Is this good? Is this good? What about this? Is this good?
He went to the music club. They invited him to join, but
they weren't as cool as you guys.
Yuanama, you're much cooler than they are. So please teach me how to play the guitar.
Yeah.
And that's it. He sunk.
I mean, flattery will get you everywhere.
Yuanama's, that's it. He's done. Yeah. And then you get a little panel of Yuanama, and you get...
And then you get his sister, and they show that they look very similar and talk about it. And then they give him her hair, and you can really see how similar they are.
Yes. They have basically the exact same face shape. Yes. Just one's got long hair and one's got short hair. That's basically what we're working with.
Genetically gifted with perfect noses and bone structure.
Well, of course they are. I would not be reading a manga about ugly people.
Well, I mean, it goes further than that here because she's literally a model.
Yeah,
like she's a model. That's her job at college. She do modeling.
So,
yep.
We get to chapter 3, and we are the Kaji and Haruki are talking about Yuanama and how he's actually a pretty good guy and he likes to help people. Yeah. He was a total brat when they first started, though. I wrote down here that Akikyo, or Kaji, as they're calling him right now.
Yeah.
He's actually pretty observant, and he makes some decent observations. And, he's good at understanding people's character.
Yeah.
So he mentions that for someone so young, Yuanama's got a lot of talent. And he was just a brat because he was in puberty. I'm do it to anybody.
Which is fair. But I think Ruki is the one that first picks up on how there might be a love connection between the two of them. And I feel like we get it feels like... I
think that's later, though.
Okay.
Because this is just...
I have it written on page 64, and I think that's page 64.
Oh.
Yeah, I get the feeling that... What? Never mind. Let's get back. Okay.
I think Kaji's saying
okay.
It's not that he just wants to help that
It's more like a strong urge to protect him. Or it might even be ... Okay, so
Kaji.
Kaji's the one that first figures it out.
Yeah, Kaji is observant.
Yeah.
And he knows that Yuanama's not acting like Yuanama normally acts.
Yeah, something fishy going on here.
So, Yuanama is teaching Mafuyu how to play. He said, all you've said so far is yeah or okay. Are you even listening? Yeah.
I don't know what he wants him to say, but I guess more than one word answers.
It would be nice. It would be nice.
It helps the teaching process go if you tell me where you're having problems.
Are you understanding the words that I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, so they get to talking to him about how he's going to need a job. Yep. Money.
Yeah, because being in a band's expensive. You got to buy all the equipments. Like any good hobby, you got to support capitalism with it, or it doesn't count as a hobby.
Make bank, Mafia. So, Mafia has to go get a job, and then Yuanama's talking to a kid in his class, and the kid, he brings up the fact that he's always talking to the guy next door, and asks about whether or not they're friends or whatever. And Yuanama's like, you're gossiping about me? About us?
Facts.
But... And
now,
then,
is this is a girl? The girl that he talks to later that tells... Okay.
Yeah. This girl over here...
I wanted to be sure about that.
This girl over here skipping chapters. I wrote down, bitch is skipping ahead. Are you guys gay or what?
It's like, oh, she's read this before.
Yeah, she knows how this story is
she's read this manga. Or she's that tragic figure in all LGBT romance seems to have it. The tragic, quote-unquote, straight figure who keeps falling for people that aren't interested in them. Like the straight girl that keeps falling for gay dudes, like over and over again. She may have seen this movie before.
She may have seen this movie before. But yeah, so Mafia is learning how to play quicker than expected, but Yuanama still doesn't know much about him.
Yeah. And also he's seeing himself in him.
Yeah.
Because of how quickly Mafuyu is picking up the talent.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Mafia has a pretty impressive guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because he doesn't know anything about music, again, asking what a band is, Yuanama starts asking Mafia questions about where he got the guitar from. Yeah. He asks about his dad, and Mafia's like, I don't have a dad.
Did you see, the Japanese legend of the child that hatches from a peach? That's me.
That's me?
There was a peach floating down the river.
And he's even a redhead.
And I kind of popped out of it.
Yeah. So he asks him a bunch of questions, and Mafia doesn't have a single answer for any of them. And he doesn't even know if Mafia understands what he's saying. And now this made me incredibly sad, because I love this part in the anime.
Mm-hmm.
So he asks Mafia if he has a favorite song. Yuanama asks him that. And Mafia says that he doesn't know it, but it sounds like this, and then he sings. And in the anime, it's so fucking beautiful.
Yeah. Here instead, you get a full page spread that kind of like shows the impact of the voice, because it's the two of them, and just through their facial expressions, like you can see what a soulful impact this song is having, because that's what you have to do when without putting a tape CD in there.
Play at this moment.
Play right here. Yeah. I always thought it would be cool to if I ever wrote a book, I would sell it with a CD for you to listen to while you're reading the book, so I could control like your environment while you're reading the words that I was putting out.
Yeah, I got a mood that goes with this. Yeah, we have to do all of this together.
Yeah, for chapter 1, listen to this song on repeat.
At any rate, clearly this has an impact on Yuanama, and he goes from 0 to 100 real quick. So at that moment, it felt like I could feel the air itself resonating with his song. And then he straight up goes, "Will you join our band?" Like, he went from, "I don't want to teach you," to, "You have to sing with us now."
I mean, he is nose to nose. He's like, "Will you join our band?" Like, right in his face about it. And it's funny because, it's kind of uncomfortable. But yeah, they need a singer. They were an instrumental band. They were just instrumental.
Yep.
And they're like, "Ooh, what if we had a singer?"
Yeah. And what if it was Mafia, who's got a pretty voice?
Yeah.
So the chapter 4 starts with Mafia's point of view, and he's saying, "I don't feel lonely," which is not something people who aren't lonely tell themselves.
Well, it's unfair. 2 types of people say, "I don't feel lonely." People that aren't lonely and people that are lonely.
Yeah, it's not confusing.
I mean, it's people, everybody lies. I learned that from House.
Don't take any lessons from House.
Okay.
But, yeah, he's not lonely, because even though I'll never see you again, and even though I don't have words for you yet, I still carry within me something that you loved. It happened one winter, it happened one morning. And this is part of the tragic backstory of, which is that's all you get. I like the way that you get little hints, like, it tells you later.
I feel like at that point you can feel like, oh, the guitar. Okay. This guitar somehow connected to this. Like, and maybe the song as well.
So, the next scene is Haruka watching Kaji flirt with women and getting all in his feelings about it.
Yeah, apparently he's got some feelings for Kaji.
Yes.
And I also think it's interesting that Kaji, who's so good at picking up on how people feel about each other, is oblivious about how Haruki feels about him. Well, he seems...
he's not oblivious.
Well, then he's intentionally hurtful, seemingly.
Well,
but we'll get to it.
You'll get to it eventually, but he's not oblivious. He is... Like in the last episode, he is purposefully not recognizing the energy that is here. And there is a reason for it, but...
Although he does occasionally tease him about it, in a way that's like, guy teasing.
And also, he does also return the affection, but he has other circumstances that are happening in the background that we don't get to see yet.
Okay. So, well, at this juncture, he seemed oblivious.
Yeah, he seemed oblivious and kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Well, no, he didn't seem like an asshole.
I think he's an asshole.
I think
that's because I know what happens.
Right. I think you can be oblivious and not be an asshole. But if he's not oblivious, then yeah, maybe he's an asshole. But I didn't know that till just now. Because I didn't read ahead.
I've watched the whole anime.
I know. I'm just kidding.
And also I would read ahead if given the choice.
I know. Yep.
So they reference the email that Yumanama sent about wanting Mafia to join the band.
Yes.
And he wants them to hear Mafia sing.
Yeah.
But
then he storms in, mad as hell.
Well, the thing is, he invited Mafia to join the band, and Mafia said no. Yeah. And Yumanama does not handle rejection well.
Well, it's weird because it's when the dynamics within a relationship change, there's friction, and sometimes that's hard to overcome. In the beginning, Mafuyu was the one always asking him for things. Now, when the tables has turned and he asked him and got rejected, it was a change in their dynamic, and he doesn't handle that well. Like Yuinama, it's very uncomfortable for him. He does not like that. Really threw him for a loop.
He's so attached to his voice that he can't let it go. Yeah, he's not giving up. And
now, what are they teasing him about? What is this? Because I missed this where they're laughing, and he's like, "Just drop it already."
I think it's just because he asked Mafia to join.
Oh, because he got dumped?
Yeah, basically, yeah, he got dumped, and he thinks that Mafia is not showing up and not hanging out or anything.
And Haruki asked him the obvious questions. When he said no, did you ask him why, his reasons? Did you get any more information? Do you have his phone number?
Yeah.
Do you have a way? Have you in any way established a relationship with this person?
Have you done the legwork?
Any work?
Any of it that would make this seem like a reasonable request?
Yeah, Mafuyu has done all the work to be up in your grill. Like, you've done nothing. You have no contact info for him.
Like, he points out that Mafuyu has a job interview. Mafuyu is doing everything that they have told him to do.
Yeah.
He's listening, he's paying attention, he's trying really hard.
Yeah.
And Yuinama is not putting in the same amount of work to make this a relationship. Even if it's just a friendship, like even if it never developed anything past that, he's not putting in the legwork to establish that.
Exactly.
And Haruki here, I feel like he's fair but firm. Like it is a fair assessment to be like, hey, you don't have his phone number. You didn't ask him why he didn't want to join the band.
Yeah.
You just assume shit and then get mad. Like, you can't do that.
And, well, also, he doesn't want to see his friend lose someone that he obviously cares about because he's got all these mixed up feelings about Kaji, and he's like, I at least want you to be happy. One of us should find some love. That'd be great.
Yeah. This is also true.
Yeah.
But yeah, he calls Yuinama out at needing to be better at communicating.
Yeah, that's what music is, man. It's communicating, man. Imagine him talking like a hippie at that point.
Oh my God.
Like, come on, man.
Come on, man. Yeah, so when he's talking to Kaji, he worries he's too hard on him, but Kaji says he's everyone's big brother. He's like, you're only 2 years younger than me.
Someone always takes that mantle, though. In a group of friends, somebody always has to be the big brother, responsible one. And it doesn't really matter the age. It matters the sensibility.
The personality, yeah. So Yuinama's waiting for Mafia after he gets off of his job interview. And he asks him... Oh, he's getting ready to ask him a question.
Yeah.
And then Mafia gets interrupted by... Fuck, what's his name?
I didn't catch his name, but I wrote, does anybody not have a guitar here? Because at this juncture, at this intersection, you got 3 people, all with guitars strapped to their back. And I was like, well, that's just something you don't see every day. 3 guitarists just meeting in the wild. But he is a friend from Mafuyu's past.
Yes. And Mafia straight up runs from his problems. He's like, this dude asks if that is Mafia, and he asks about the thing on his back, and then Mafia just fucking... Well, he also asks...
Is that Yoshida's guitar? Yeah. This is the first we get mentioned of the name Yoshida.
Yeah, and then, are you playing music now? And then, I never know how to react in these kinds of situations. And he just runs. Mafia just straight runs from his... problems.
His former acquaintance.
Yeah. Emotionally stunted characters got to stick together, though, because Yuinama also runs right with Mafia. He's just straight up like...
Yeah, but Yuinama's going to catch up with him.
It's true.
To see if he's okay, which, that's That's a little... And it's not his friend from the past. So
no, I'm just saying
Yuanama
totally is also emotionally stunted.
Oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
Emotionally stunted characters.
Or just a teenager. You know. It's hard to tell a difference at that point.
I was about to say, teenagers are all emotionally stunted.
Yeah. I would prefer to call them emotionally developing. Because stunted means that, like, you hit a wall. Oh, sorry. I'm mad about it. It means you hit a wall.
Very strong opinions about teenagers, man.
And stunted. Emotionally stunted means you kind of hit a wall. They're just still developing. They just, like... I feel like a stunted means, like, it stopped growing. It, like, curled up in on itself. And it's like a tumor. It's a bad thing. These people are just still developing. Because they're teenagers. They got growing to do.
That's fair. That's a fair...
I don't know. Maybe that's silly.
But he does catch up with him. Yuanama does catch up with Mafia, and he asks him what's going on, and then he thinks he's crying.
Yeah.
But Mafia doesn't cry.
Yeah. Too much of a robot.
Is it something that you can't tell me? Does it have to do with not wanting to join the band?
Yes, he finally gets around to asking him why he doesn't want to join the band. Which, only 2 days later.
Only
good.
2 days later.
It's good, you're on it. You're on top of
he's
this.
learning. We were just talking about developing.
Emotional development.
And communication,
Yeah. Talking to your friends, getting their advice, following it when it's not shitty.
And honestly, Haruki and Kaji...
give good advice.
They do give good... They seem to genuinely care about the kids. Like,
the band is... They seem to all care about it.
Yeah.
It's a positive experience, yeah.
So, Mafia says that he's probably bad at expressing himself compared to other people. Yeah. And this pisses Yuanama right off. He gets so mad.
Based on what we've seen from him before, with the exception of his singing voice, maybe he's got something there. It's interesting because he can't communicate well in conversation. He assumes that would carry over to music he created. And that's what really... ticks off his mentor.
Well, Yuanama straight up is like, that's one of the dumbest things I have ever heard. Yuanama seems to care a lot about Mafia, but he is such a, like, again, he is such a tsundere about it. Like, he's so loud and, like,
I do
angry.
I understand an anger that comes from seeing people who have something beautiful about themselves doubting themselves. Like, I mean, this is a trite example, but you see it on Facebook, and I'm not talking about the humble brags or the begging for compliments.
Yeah.
But the people who put up something that they did and couch it in like a paragraph of protective coding. Yeah. Like, hey, I did this art piece. I know it's not good, and I mean, it was rushed, but I kind of like it. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, you want to shake them and be like, you did some art here. Fucking be proud of it. It's good shit. Like, go out there and tell them it's good shit. Like, I get this resounded within me because I have so many friends that are so talented, but so, like, their self-esteem's been beaten into the ground by this thing called life. And, like, you want to shake them and tell them, like, you are good and your art is worth something. Like, yeah, but you're right. There's a lot of in your face about this.
I get, like, he's trying to be sweet.
Yeah.
And again, you're talking about with teenagers, but, like, he tells him that his song went straight to his heart. Like, Mafia's little song and it wasn't, like, it's just a little, it's in the anime, it's just a little
ditty.
Bit, yeah, it's just a little vocalization. Mm-hmm. But it struck something within Yuanama, and, like, he's very upset with Mafia for not being able to understand that.
Yeah.
And he looks so hurt right now. And he's like, he asks Mafia to sing for him again. And
which I thought was really sweet.
It was.
That's a very sweet.
He puts his hand on his shoulder and everything.
Yeah. He's tired. Yelling. Well, he ran and chased him down.
And then yelled at him.
He's exhausted. He just needs a place to nap. Like, yo, bro, don't read anything by this. I just need a shoulder
read all of the
I literally need a shoulder to lean on right now. I'm exhausted from calling you an idiot. So let me lay on you.
And Yuanama reflects that ever since he met Mafia, his life's been a mess. He's been a mess, actually.
Yeah.
And whatever it is, so Kaji hears Mafia singing this time and says, this is something I did not expect.
Yeah. But whether he's talking about those two being into each other or how good the singing is, you're left kind of to wonder at that juncture.
And then you get this cute little panel of just Mafia walking up like a puppy right beside Yuanama. It's so cute. So, the next chapter. Yeah, we're getting ready to start the next chapter.
Yep.
Chapter 5 has Yuanama's sister coming in to yell at him to come eat, and she sees that he is working on something. I am still of the opinion, and this is actually when I wrote it down, that Yuanama's sister is here just for the male gaze. Or for lesbians.
She's in her bra at this point, so maybe.
She's also so gone for Kaji, and so is Haruki, so unfortunately for both of them, he's a hoe.
Yeah, Kaji, yeah, what a mess for Haruki. I feel for him, because he watches those two kind of like flirting with each other.
They flit around each other.
Yeah.
But Yuanama's sister, being an actually decent sister, even though she gives her brother shit, goes to ask Kaji if they're working on something, because Yuanama has been super
she notices that he's been more passionate about his music lately, and I think she likes it. Mm-hmm. She even gets to the point where she, much like her brother, starts yelling, like, if you guys have a show, you better tell me. I want to be there. Like, gets real confrontational.
Yeah. No, she gets into it.
Yeah.
It's like she's noticing that his passion is picked up, because it's like she says it's like how it was years ago.
Yeah. When he was first learning.
Yeah, he's really into it. And then the next scene is Mafia coming to pick Yuanama up so they can go practice. And he sees him getting hit on by Kasi. Kasi is not having any luck, but Yuanama gets called by Mafia, and he's up. Straight up like a lightning.
Yep.
And he leaves. It's cute.
Yeah, it's very cute.
And then Kasi gets some nice fresh gossip.
Yeah, you gotta get gossip. You're in school. What are you doing in school if you're not getting gossip?
And the girl that she's talking to used to go to middle school with Mafia, and there are those kind of rumors about him. But we don't get to learn what those rumors are yet. So
yeah, then we're at band practice, and I guess
we're at our hallway practice.
Yeah,
really.
That's true. But yeah, I guess Mafuya's in the band now. I guess that just happened.
It did. It did. It happened probably when Mafia sang to him.
When Mafia yelled. Yelling works, folks. Trying to remember. Yelling works.
So they're talking about pedals and buying stuff, and he asks Mafia to go shopping at some point, but for right now, he can borrow it. Yeah. And I think Mafia was gonna ask Yuanama if, I'm not sure if he was gonna ask if that girl was into him, or if he's not been sleeping well or something. Yeah,
he almost asked him a question and then doesn't. Yeah. So, make of that what you will.
Yeah.
A question can be anything you want it to be.
Well, the thing is, it flashbacks to Kasi trying to wake him up, but then he decides to ask if Yuanama's been working on something lately.
Oh.
And Yuanama tells him he's been working on a song for Mafia.
Yeah, for the singing that he did.
Yeah.
Trying to add some musical accompaniment.
Yep. And Mafia thinks that's really cool, which it is. I mean, to have someone who can turn just something that you have an idea of into something real is kind of neat.
Oh, yeah.
So, you get a bunch of,
little montages.
Yeah.
The days go by, the band gets tighter.
And then they decide that their song's going to have lyrics. That the one that they've been working on is going to have lyrics. This is our first, they're going to do a show.
Yeah. Reading yakitori and discussing song lyrics.
Yep. And Mafia is the one who...
So I want to ask a quick question about that. So Mafuya has a song that he sings, that they're trying to add music to. Mm-hmm. They have a different song that they also want him to put lyrics to.
Yes.
Correct, okay. They're going to have 2 songs with lyrics, this instrumental band.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I'm called out now.
In the anime, they end up with 4 songs. Or 5, technically. Akikyo or Kaji ends up drinking too much and crashes at Haruki's place. And this is the shit that makes me think that Kaji is an ass. Because he basically lays on top of Haruki in this bottom panel. And, that's unnecessary. You don't need... Haruki...
I mean, too outer space.
Yeah, Haruki, like, is clearly smitten. And if you don't return those feelings, that's fine. It's not your responsibility.
Of course, Kaji was drunk. They do establish that he was drunk, so it's possible that, much like a drunk staggers and falls down, he just fell on him and then fell asleep. Like, he's like too much of a pain, which means there was a little bit of forethought there, but also he's drunk, so he's obviously just doing dumb shit. Like you sometimes occasionally do when you're drunk. Not that I'm making an excuse for stuff you do when you're drunk, but a millisecond to fall on somebody. It's enough time to make a quick bad decision about where you're going to sleep that night. So this is Kaji on the side of the bed. Crawled out from under?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Haruki.
Yeah.
Apparently crawls out from under Kaji and is kind of like on the side of the bed, like confused about what this portends.
Yeah.
Like, oh, was he just drunk and fell? Or
Well,
did that
for
mean
Kaji,
something?
like, yeah, he wants it to mean a thing, and for Haruki, he wants it to mean a thing, and
He does, but there's enough cover. There's
Yeah.
enough smoke screen there that Kaji can be like, no, I was just drunk. It just fell on you. Happens.
Yeah.
I was sleepy. I didn't want to sleep on the floor. That's all that happened.
So Yuanama has class, and he pairs up with Kasi,
Yep.
and she asks if Sato likes him, and Yuanama's like, I don't think he hates me, but why?
I don't think he hates me.
And then Kasi, and she gets better, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
This bit right here
Yeah.
was fucking rude. This was fucking unnecessary.
I think she's got feelings that she,
I don't... Mm-mm.
so she tries to...
I think she was jealous.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think she, through her petty jealousy, she decides to drop the bad gossip of Mafuya.
Yep.
And that's fucked up.
Yep.
Especially when you guys hear what this gossip is.
So she says that she heard that Sato was dating a boy from his middle school, which that fucks up Yuanama. Like his poor little face in this next panel is so sad.
Yeah,
And-
a bit of a content warning.
And then
Suicide thoughts ahead.
yeah, and then that boy committed suicide last year. So she figured out, she was told that he's gay and that his last boyfriend committed suicide.
Yes.
And then the rumor is
How
that
did him
suicide,
and suicide boyfriend did him?
Yeah.
Like in one conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's.
I hate, like, she does get better, and
she apologizes for this. Like a few pages later,
Yeah.
she's like, "That was way out of line. I shouldn't have just spit all that out on you."
So the rumor is that his suicide had something to do with Sato. So Yuanama, don't you think you should keep your distance from Sato? Bitch,
And
he ain't gonna want you anyway.
And maybe go out with me.
Yeah. He ain't gonna want you anyway.
Hey.
Go away.
Well, not after this. This is a bad look. I mean, I don't know if he's bi or not, but after this, it's
You're
a bad look.
You're not in the running anymore, bitch.
Yeah, it's a bad look. And then we get the page for Haruki. Yay!
I like Haruki.
Yeah, he's my favorite. I told you. He has
He's a
all these
sweet
different
dude.
hairstyles.
Well, one of his jobs in the anime is he actually, like, models his hair.
Oh.
And, like, they do his hair for videos and stuff, and he
Nice.
gets paid for it. He's really cool.
Yeah.
So, chapter 6.
Dun, 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 dun.
We get a reaction panel to Yuanama having a bomb dropped on him, learning that this cute boy that he's been hanging out with had a boyfriend that died.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he doesn't handle it well. And she does apologize. The thing about them dating was only a rumor, but it is true that his friend died. It was a classmate of his, a guy named Yoshida, who passed away.
Is that Yoshada's guitar?
Yep.
And I wrote, of course, it's Yoshada's guitar.
Of course it's Yoshida's guitar. It's like a Gibson or something. Like, it's a fancy-ass guitar.
It's a fancy-ass guitar.
And Yuanama's dealing with this feeling of, like, he's going to be sick.
Yeah. Butterflies. First
And-
time you feel them, you don't know what the fuck those are.
It's true.
It's
And-
funny because you hear it, like, in every romance, they're like, oh, my tummy doesn't feel right. And they're like, you're in love, stupid. Those are butterflies. And you're like, ugh. But when you think about it, the first time you're in love, your stomach does act weird, and you don't connect the two. Like, someone has to connect that for you, because first time you fall in love, you don't know why you also have stomach issues.
Well, and it takes him... The thing that I think is really cute is they actually draw this out, the way that it's drawn out here and the way that it's drawn out in the anime, it does take Yuanama a minute to recognize what these feelings are. Like, he starts... Once he realizes that Mafia had a boyfriend, honestly, the suicide bit, he doesn't really touch on, but once he realizes that Mafia was in love before, it takes him a minute, but he realized, like, it sinks in slowly. So, this dude's name is Hagari. I just got to the part of my notes.
Thank
but
you.
The dude who was there before asking about the guitar he's found Mafia at work and wants to talk to him, and they talk about the funeral a little bit, and that being Yashadi's guitar.
So a little thing here. They show a close-up of the coffee he's drinking, and it's called Black Poss, P-O-S-S. There's actually a very popular coffee in Japan called Black Boss, B-O-S-S. So it's a parody on that. And Boss is such a popular, like, coffee that, like, a bunch of celebrities from the U.S. have done commercials for it.
That's cool.
One of the most famous ones is Tommy Lee Jones. So if you're ever bored, type in Tommy Lee Jones Boss Coffee commercial on YouTube and have yourself a little treat, because they're as ridiculous as you might imagine. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah. Just a little Boss Coffee trivia for you.
Some nice trivia.
Yeah.
So his mom... Yashada's mom let Mafia take the guitar, and, like, Mafia and Yashada were going out. That part of the rumor is true. And their parents were supportive, which is actually really nice.
Yeah.
It is really sweet. So,
it's a throwaway line, but it's nice.
It is nice.
Japanese culture, more forgiving now, but, I don't know, gays probably are not viewed as favorably as they are in the U.S. Or as favorably as they were in the U.S. before 2016. Yeah.
It's a great time to be alive, folks. So, Hagari is kind of making subtle digs at Mafia and trying to worm out what Mafia's trying to do. So, he's asking if he's trying to move on or if he's hanging on to the past.
Yeah.
And Mafia doesn't know.
It's an honest answer.
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea. Like, because... Isn't that a fair question of everyone? Like, whenever you have stuff like that, are you paying homage to someone that's gone, or are you clinging desperately to the past? Like, I think that's a person-by-person question that...
It's a situation-by-situation
you need a couple
question.
years of therapy to answer correctly.
Well, you know, like... So,
you can't really spring it on someone like that.
Well, but there are also, like... So, normally around, like, Dia de los Muertos, I'll make, like, recipes that my grandmother used to make. I think something can be both. You can be honoring a tradition or acknowledging that you miss someone and finding ways to keep them alive.
Well, one is perceived as healthy and one is perceived as...
It's true.
It's not healthy. And I guess, are you remembering that person in a healthy way or in a toxic way?
Yeah.
And... yeah, he doesn't know.
Yeah, Mafia doesn't know really what he's doing yet.
Yeah, who blames him? Not I.
He's a fucking teenager whose boyfriend committed suicide.
Is it established how long ago that happened?
It is not. It is not fully established at this
like,
point.
they're in high school now, right?
Well,
or college?
Hold on a second. Where's Mafia's page at? I can tell you how old Mafia is at this point.
That's good. Because I think it happened in middle school. So
Mafia is 16.
So, yeah, probably a year or two ago?
I think it's a year ago.
Okay.
So, or maybe less than a year. I'm not entirely sure. It's been in the last...
Well, even if it's 2 years ago, you know, people heal at different rates, and they, you know, so yeah, you didn't know yet. You didn't know.
So, Hagari sees another friend, and they talk about... He just talked to Mafia, and his friend tells him not... He tells Shizu that he's gonna worry. They grew up together.
Yeah, which is kind of sweet.
It is. So... Yuanama decides that the best thing to do with the bomb that was dropped on his lap is to just sit calmly beside it. He doesn't do anything about the information that
One way to handle it.
We're going to ignore it.
Yeah.
It's ticking over there and it's going to blow up in my face, but we're going to ignore it.
Smart.
But he is all spaced out, and Kaji comes to visit. He's done some drums for this song.
Yeah.
they're getting ready, if Mafia can come up with the words, then...
Haruki, who, I don't know if we've flat out mentioned this, but he's the bassist. He's going to add a bass line to it a little later. So the song's coming along nicely.
Yeah. Kaji says he's got a nice voice. His voice might be pretty, but when you listen to him, there's a feeling of incredible passion and fury. Which is accurate.
Yeah.
So, it's like hearing someone scream without screaming, if that makes any sense.
That's a good line.
Yeah. So, Akiko is talking to him, and he's like, Yonama tells him that I hear him, I think he sounds incredible, but I can't stand it. I get this sick feeling in the pit of my stomach, and it makes me want to smash something to pieces. Akiko should do Yonama a favor and explain it to him, because he's not...
Yeah. Like, what?
Kaji's like... He just starts laughing. I really love this.
I mean, nothing makes me laugh like watching my friends suffer. I'm there for it.
He tells Yonama to get Mafia to write the lyrics, and
Mafia just straight up can't do it.
Nope, can't do that.
Which gets him another face yell. This is my favorite panel. He's trying to make an excuse. He's like, I'm not good at... I'm going to kill you! And then you have Kaji at the bottom going, way to motivate, huh? Like, I laughed out loud at that panel. It was very funny.
I want to play your song. Do your best. You're not his boss.
Yeah. And then he's like, he's not his boss. You're not his boss. It's a bunch of boss accusations here.
Mafia's like, what should I write? And Haruka says, whatever you want. That is not helpful.
Yeah.
That is the opposite of helpful. It's really the worst advice.
Give me some limitations.
Yeah.
Like when you're writing...
Can you give me a topic?
When you're writing, sometimes it's easier to have a box that you have to stay
Do you have a prompt?
Yeah, give me a
preference.
Writing prompt is great.
So, yeah. And then Haruki's like, you can always write about love. Everyone loves love. Yeah. That's always a good one. And
everybody loves love, man.
Kaji's like, please shut up.
Write about love, man. He is such a hippie sometimes.
Yeah. What Haruki said, shut off a time bomb in me. So, yeah.
And then they practice to exhaustion, right?
Haruki has all of the elegance of an elephant in a china shop. Of all of the things to say, you had to go with the very thing you should not have said.
Yeah. Love.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
So, they finish practicing, and then Haruka asks why Kaji went so hard when they were practicing. And Mafia's like, he probably picked up on my feelings and was doing it for my sake. Romance is that much of a toxic topic, huh? I guess love songs must be hard for you. And Mafia asks Haruka if he's in love with someone. And he's like, what if one day you woke up and the person you loved was suddenly gone from this world? How would that make you feel? How would you describe it? Sad, lonely, yearning? Well, and then Haruka's like, I wouldn't know what to say. Mafia's like, yeah, me too.
That's why I don't know how to write this song. I also like that these two have formed a friendship, like amongst everyone else in the band, because they got love issues.
Well, and they're also both they're both sensitive types.
Yeah,
like they're both small beans. And Mafia especially, they're small boys and they need protection. They're.
At that point, I kind of wanted those two to end up together.
Right.
There's a scene where they're very close to each other, and I'm like, maybe you two should just hook up. That might be better.
So, Mafia's trying to figure out what to write, and...
Okay, is that the... Yes, I want to read this part, because this may go down in history as the worst pep talk I've ever heard in my life, so I'm going to read it. I've been looking forward to this day all year. Today we win. All right, guys, listen up. Whatever you're talking about, it's just they go, whatever you're talking about, it's just another tournament. He's like, what? We've been practicing for this non-stop. And he's like, whatever, Mr. Soccer Club. Obviously, he's been skipping practice to go to another practice, which this is different. Yeah, I'm counting on you, Mr. Basketball Club. Fine, then I'm counting on you in soccer, but not b-ball. And I'm also counting on you, my former baseball club. I'm going to take a nap. That's their pep talk. Like, they're all just accusing each other of not putting their all into it because of their other clubs.
Yeah, well, when you sign up for a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah, you have a lot of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
So, yeah, Yuanama goes to his little nap hall to sleep, and Mafia's there.
Oh.
And this part, so Yuanama realizes that he didn't think about coming here. He didn't want to be alone with Mafia because he can't think about him or what this feeling is. He hasn't sorted it out yet.
Right.
And then Mafia says, Yuanama, can I tell you something? If you want to sleep, you don't have to say anything. I'll do my best to write those lyrics. I had someone who I really loved. I don't have any words for it beyond that, but there is something that I want to try to express. And Yuanama says, oh, I get it. This is jealousy.
Hey, jealousy! Tomorrow we can drive around this town. Yeah.
And at this part, so Yuanama's pretending to be asleep, but I remember at the anime, I felt so bad for Yuanama at this point because...
Well, jealous of a dead person.
But he's also so in over his head. The
Yeah.
first time he falls in love, it's with this poor, tragic, like, person who has all of this trauma and all of these issues, and he fell so hard and so fast, and, like, he didn't even know what was hitting him.
And you're also living up to an ideal of when someone passes away, they kind of get crystallized into their most perfect form, idealized. Mm-hmm. So he is now in this very bad position of trying to compete with an ideal, like someone who is no longer real, so no longer has any faults. Like when someone dies, they get enshrined as perfection. Now, I don't know, further on that may change.
This actually isn't the case in this particular situation. I honestly think Mafia is more mad at Yashada's character.
Suicide can create a lot of anger in that respect.
A lot of the drama that happens is more about Mafia figuring out how to say goodbye.
Ah, okay.
Because he's at this point, he might love memories of Yuki, but he's not in love with Yuki anymore.
Yeah.
He misses Yuki, but I honestly think, for the most part, he's more angry than he is idolizing.
Okay. Well, that will be interesting to watch develop.
So, we get at the end, but yeah, I just felt so bad for Yuanama because he falls in love.
You're right, he is in over his head. So, and even if Yuki's not in love with Yuki anymore, like, he doesn't know that. Yuyama doesn't know that yet.
No, it's
so true. Now he feels like he's in this competition, even if he's not.
It's true. So
then we get a bunch of fun part-time job and Q&As at the end. Little one-shots. Like, kind of newspaper comic strip sized.
Yeah.
2 or 3 panels.
And I really like, Yuanama is so, like, judgmental in a lot of these little things. It's adorable.
When they ask him why he didn't get a job in a music venue, and he's like, oh, I couldn't stand listening to musicians. College students playing crappy versions of songs I like.
Watching high school cover bands play Japanese pop rock makes me sick.
Yeah. Fair.
Yes. And because he wants to be built like Kaji.
Yeah. Kaji's a Libra, by the way. I saw that on his page.
Yes,
I'm a Libra. He's a Libra. We're cool together.
Kaji's a mess.
Yeah.
So, I also really like this part because...
where they're asking who the cute one is in the band, and they each say someone else in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haruki and Yuanama think it's Kaji, hands down. It's because he's so cool. If I was a girl, I'd be into him. He looks scary and ridiculous. But he gets ridiculous amounts of play. And then they ask Kaji and Mafia, and they say Yuanama, and Mafia's like, Yuanama has a lot of pull at school. And also because he seems like he might be a virgin, and that's kind of cute. Mafia just calling out Yuanama's virginity left and right.
Thanks for that.
I do think it's cute how they have all these little places where they all relate to each other in different ways. Mm-hmm. Just like this, like the whole... There are all these kind of ways that, like, Mafia and Haruki are very similar, and that Kaji and Yuanama are very similar, but there are also all these different ways that, like, they're connected. Like, so they also have a 1 to immunity, and it says, Mafia says Yunama seems to be immune to girls. And Kaji's like, that's because he has an older sister. He's seen it all. He says he can't really fantasize about girls. Once you know the reality, you get used to it. And then they both want a sibling, and Mafia says, I'm jealous that he's so close to his sister.
It's cute.
It's adorable.
Yeah, these little vignettes give you a lot more, like, in-depth into their personality.
And that's actually...
Then you get a page with the girls at the end. Their little personality
I think the first volume does a wonderful job of establishing who these characters, where they're starting from.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see little impacts from the past and how things happen. It is a very, very different kind of, from Semantic Error. It's a very different kind of story.
Yeah. I found these characters much more relatable and likable than Semantic Error. Like, it took much less time for these characters for me to like these characters. Semantic Error, there were little, like, snippets of light where I was like, okay, this character might be redeemable, but given just most of the way through, I was like, I like this crowd. I hope good things happen for these kids.
They're all so sweet.
They are.
All right, big question.
Big question time. I'm ready.
What is the anime song or opening or closing that has made the biggest impact on you, or that you just can't skip?
Okay, I'm going to cheat because it's 2, but it's also sort of 1. Both Season 1 and Season 2 of Mushishi have an opening song that I'm just fucking in love with. Like, there's so much longing in them. They're so sad, and one of them's called Shiver, and I don't remember off the top of my head what the other one's song, but if you type Mushishi opening theme Season 1, Season 2, they'll come up on YouTube. You should definitely listen to them. They're masterpieces. The opening for Cowboy Bebop would be a close second or third. Because that one's just, that's pure energy, baby. Like, that's on my workout. Playlist. See ya, Space Cowboy.
Aww.
What about you?
Oh, Yuri on Ice, History Maker. That
I actually knew that one.
Yes,
I
never skip History Maker. I fucking love that song. That song is the essence of happiness boiled down into, like, however long that song is. Like, I fucking love that song.
I will tell you, one that you introduced me to that I really like is the opening to Moriarty the Patriot. That's got a real good opening theme as well.
I also really like the opening to Psychopaths. The song by... what's the band called? I actually have... Oh, Abnormalize, I think, is the one. It's by the... Lings... You'll have to cut all of this part out.
No way. No, the noises that you make.
Yeah, just random noises.
They're going to stay because they're great.
They are not.
What?
No. It's not what I wanted to do at all. I think the opening song is called Abnormalize, but it is, like, hands down one of my favorite openings. Yeah. Ling Taosai Siguri. I'm not even sure if I'm saying that right, but that and History Maker those are 2 of my favorite openings. They ended up on my playlist on.
Cool. Well, by God, if you don't have a playlist of anime music by now, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast.
This is also true.
But if you don't, you can make one now. We gave you like a good 8. It's a good start.
Yeah. I'll start with History Maker, and I mean everything will go down from there, but it's a good place to start.
Whatever. Start with Shiver, and everything will make you happier than it because this is kind of a sad song. Sore Feet Song. That's the name of the other one. All right, sorry. All right, in 2 weeks' time, we will reconvene here, and we are finally going to go into part 2 of my 3-part 80s franchise. Part 1 was Transformers.
Yep.
We're now going to start on part 2, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is volume 1 of the comics that were released in 2012. There also were comics released in 1984 and 2002, like He-Man has resurgences. As everything that came out in the 80s does. They get in every 10 to 20
cycles.
years, there someone decides that the 80s need to be brought back again.
Yeah.
But the that particular DC Comics line of He-Man comics is really well written, and it gives the characters a different spin-off than you would expect. It's very cool, very adult in theme. You know, this is not your children's He-Man. Much more like the Netflix cartoon in that it's for a more adult audience. But yeah, the 2012 Volume 1, He-Man the Masters of the Universe by DC Comics for 2 weeks from now. Do it. Get with it.
Yay!
And until then, as always, this is Reno Dino Valentino. You can find me on the Twitch on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. We also have Facebooks and Instagrams and all of that stuff. There'll be links in the show notes, as well as for my other 2 podcasts, Judgmental Horror Junkie and Top 3 Anything. Until then, we are signing off.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Whoop, whoop.